Preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Line a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan with some parchment paper and allow the paper to hang over the sides just a little bit so you can easily remove the biscuits once they're done baking. Grind 8 grams or around 1 1/3 tablespoons of whole psyllium husk until it's about half of its volume. So by the time you're done grinding it, it's going to be roughly around 2 1/4 teaspoons, somewhere around in there. Place the ground husks into a large mixing bowl. Sift in 86 grams or around 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 9 grams or around close to a tablespoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and if you want to, you can add some dry seasonings or spices to give your biscuits a little bit of flavor. If you want a little bit of a sweet biscuit, you can put a little bit of sweetener and cinnamon. I'm just putting close to a tablespoon of instant dry yeast and about a teaspoon of granulated monk fruit sweetener. Sift the dry ingredients into the bowl with the ground psyllium husk until all the dry ingredients are combined and there are no lumps. Stir in 3 large room temperature eggs, 131 grams or around 9 tablespoons of melted butter or the oil of your choice, 30 milliliters or around 2 tablespoons of hot water. Make sure this is hot. You need this hot in order to soften and activate the psyllium husk. Add 30 milliliters or around 2 tablespoons of the hot milk of your choice. As I always tell you, my favorite keto milk is coconut milk. Again, you want to make sure this is hot. The water in the milk needs to be hot so it can soften the psyllium husks and they can start getting soft and binding all the ingredients together. If you don't want to use half milk and half water, you can just use 60 milliliters of hot water. The milk just kind of makes the biscuit dough a little bit more soft, so you have a little bit softer biscuit. Stir the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients for about 30 seconds to a minute. At first, it's going to look kind of soupy because you got a lot of liquid there. But as you keep stirring, the liquid's going to start absorbing and you're going to see a dough start forming. Once the dough is formed, scrape down the sides of the bowl. Knead the dough in the bowl for about 1 to 2 minutes or until the dough can be formed into a smooth ball. Let the dough sit at room temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes so it can absorb and all the ingredients can bind together. Divide the dough into 7 equal portions. It's roughly around a 1/4 cup for each portion, give or take a bit. Roll each portion into a smooth ball and set it side by side into your prepared loaf pan. Very slightly flatten the tops of each one of the dough balls. You don't have to have the tops completely flat. You're just wanting it to be more of a biscuit shape. In a small bowl, whisk together 1 large egg until the yolk and the white are completely combined. Brush the beaten egg over the top of each one of the biscuits. If you don't want to use a beaten egg, you can also use melted butter. It's up to you which one you want to use. Just make sure it covers the top. This is going to give the top of your biscuits a light golden top. Place the biscuit in your preheated oven. Bake at 375 degrees for 30 minutes or until the tops are golden. Once the biscuits are done baking, remove them from the oven. Allow them to cool in the pan for about 20 minutes or until they've firmed up a bit. Once they're firm, remove them from the pan, then transfer them to a wire rack. You can use these immediately if you want to, but if you want the best texture, let them sit on the rack for about an hour. This just gives the psyllium husk a chance to really make sure that it has absorbed any extra moisture. If you have any experience with psyllium husk, especially psyllium husk powder, sometimes the center of your bread can have a slight damp feel to it. Letting it sit and making sure that it has completely absorbed everything should prevent that from happening, especially since we have self-ground the psyllium husk. The self-ground psyllium husk absorbs a whole lot better than pre-made psyllium husk powder. Eat and enjoy.